Okay, this really, this is a choice hack. Choice hack.
Okay, well,
Well, here we have two choices, pretty much. When people give us feedback, sometimes we look at that as criticism. Other times we look at that as helpful suggestions. So the hack is to stop any type of defensive reaction when somebody gives you some feedback and use that opportunity to improve yourself.
okay, so when they receive feedback, that's the time to trigger the humility hack.
Absolutely. Because a lot of times, if I said, that is an ugly shirt, man.
This shirt,
Okay. But you could sit there and you could defend, well, this shirt has got all these great qualities. Look how handsome I am. All right. Or you could say, you know what? You don't know what you're talking about. This shirt is right on. All right. So that's kind of a silly example, but a real life example.
No,
Okay.
it's a good example.
We get feedback from all different ways.
Right.
People we don't know, people we do know, and we generate our own internal feedback. But the real key here is to allow yourself to learn from the feedback and make changes, because if you don't, you start to ruminate and get defensive and just feel bad. So I'm going to give you a really good example because I know you want an example. So I know this guy is named Nick Lowry. Some of you may have heard of him. He's in the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame. When he retired from the NFL, he had the record for the most accurate field goal kicking in the history of the league and the most number of field goals. Those records have since been surpassed. But Nick told me about the situation where you're on the line, you're about to kick a game-winning or game-deciding field goal, and you've got 80,000 people screaming obscenities at you, including like talking about your mother's genitals.
Yeah, that's some feedback.
Okay, that's definitely feedback. So you can go up to that line and you can think about that as potentially performance inhibiting, or making you miss the field goal, or you can block it out. That's kind of the first part of the situation, is evaluating that feedback so it doesn't influence your performance, so to speak. But the real key here, if you go up to that line and you miss that field goal, that's feedback too, because your team loses and everybody's unhappy and you feel disappointed, and maybe you question your ability. But that's what Nick taught me. He said you must allow yourself to learn from that situation, because then making the mistake is not a bad thing, it's actually a good thing. So instead of being motivated and getting away from the incident and making defensive criticisms like, oh, this is a good shirt, what are you talking about? You might say to me, you know what, Bob? You might have a point there. I could look better if I didn't have a little horsey on my shirt. Or Nick Lowry could say, you know what? I need to do a better job of not paying attention to the crowd, because that's why I missed the field goal. And take responsibility and just use that opportunity to motivate yourself to be better, as opposed to being withdrawn and not dealing with the issue.